Welcome
to Film Shapes,
the podcast.
¿Y qué sabes de escribir novelas vos?
Quiero escribir sobre la causa de Morales.
El tipo va todos los días a las terminales a ver si encuentra al asesino, doctora.
Es como si la muerte de la mujer lo hubiese dejado ahí detenido para siempre.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of You Mean You Haven't Seen. And this week it's the Argentine drama The Secret in Their Eyes from 2009. This is directed by Juan José Campanella and stars Ricardo Darín and Soledad Villamil. But first, let's say hello to Roly.
Hola.
Oh, hola, and hello, Merv.
Hello.
How you going, guys?
Good.
Great, excellent. So, now, Roly, you were asking before who hadn't seen this one. I saw it maybe 10 years ago when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So you haven't seen it, Roly, before?
I had
recently?
not seen the film before. I'd never heard of the film before.
Okay, and Merv, had you seen this one before?
No, I hadn't.
Okay, cool. Well, as first-time viewers, guys, what did you think, Roly?
I think you snuck this film in because it's got a soccer scene in it, and that otherwise you wouldn't have even suggested it.
Bollocks.
I think you're. I don't know. I liked the film though. I thought it was an all right film. I'm not sure it was a great film. I think I had a couple of issues with it.
Yeah, fair enough.
We can get to, but
I take personal offence to you suggesting that I only watch films that have soccer stuff
mate,
in them.
As soon as I saw that soccer scene, I was like, he's done. This is what he's done. It's gonna turn into a full soccer film now somehow.
It was pretty intense, though. That was great, that scene, wasn't it?
Well, I guess. This is the irony: is it was probably the most exciting scene in the whole film.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Okay.
For me, anyway.
Okay, fair play. Merv, what did you think?
It was fine.
I like it. I like where this is going already.
Go on.
It had 3 good scenes.
Merv, come closer to the mic.
Sorry, it had 3 good scenes, and the rest, I got to say, I found it a tad ponderous.
Okay. Yeah.
My main problem was the main character. He was just a boring, lazy, stupid asshole.
Hang on. Are you talking about the Esposito?
Ben.
Yeah, Benjamin. Yeah, really? Okay. I thought he sort of hung it together, this film. I think he's a great actor, this guy.
I'm sure he's a great actor. His character sucked.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Well, so can we sort of get a little bit of background on this, because probably nobody else knows what we're talking about, if anyone listens to this. This is set... Let me read. I've got the book. It's based on a book, the same name, by Eduardo Saccheri from 2005. Let me just read this first part here, just to maybe it'll open some windows for people. At the time of the novel, the Argentine judiciary was divided into 2 jurisdictions: investigative courts and sentencing courts. Judges, which were examining magistrates, presided over investigative courts, and every judge's court comprised 2 clerk's officers. A clerk employed about 8 people, of whom the second in command was the deputy clerk and chief administrator, the position held by this novel's protagonist, Benjamin Chaparro, or Esposito in the film. Does that make any sense, guys? Does that open any little wormholes for you?
I'm sitting here wondering if that should be pronounced clerk, but maybe I'm just going to embarrass myself.
I think it's East Coast, West Coast, Australia.
Clerk? Is it spelt with an E?
It's an E, yeah.
Yeah.
Merv, how do you say that?
I always thought it was the clerk of the court.
There you go.
Okay.
But
maybe that's my.
No.
It's a clerk who possibly works in a shop.
Yeah, okay. Different.
Okay.
I'd say clerk for both, but yeah.
Yeah. Irrelevant anyway.
It is, yeah. Anyway, so because there is a little, I mean, he's not a cop, he's not a judge, he's a deputy clerk of this court, so it's a little bit of a strange legal system they got going there.
He's a lawyer, right?
He's not a lawyer.
We could look at him as a lawyer. I just kind of looked at him as a lawyer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We have.
Yeah, he's
Go on.
part of the prosecution. He's kind of he does the groundwork for the case to get all the evidence together and then
To try and convict, yeah.
I mean, I thought the more in stuff that I had to research to clarify things was actually the political situation, which does impact the second half of this film quite heavily.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, and the book as well, quite heavily too, actually.
So you did do some research, Merv?
Afterwards, yes, because there's a few little murky things I was unsure about. When I read some of the political situations, I went, oh, okay, now I understand why some of these things happened and why certain characters kind of did things.
Let's set up the spoilers now. I think we'll have to spoil this because there's.
Oh, here we go.
What are you going to do? Talk about it?
It's not a new film.
We haven't even got there yet. But I'm not saying we can't spoil it. But yeah, I'm just not sure. First of all, I had something else to say about it, but now.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I've forgotten now because you went into spoilers territory. Never mind.
That shook you to your core.
Spoilers, no. Okay, yeah, no. So, based on this, there is a spot in this film where suddenly, and I think this relates to not understanding the political situation very well. Suddenly, the case was closed, and I was quite unsure why this case had. I felt there was not enough explanation as to why the case was closed. And, he was very angry about it and all the rest, but I still didn't know why the case had been closed. I just was kind of left to assume that there was there was an evil force at play.
I don't think so. And I'm just using the info from the book as well, so I'm sort of cheating a bit. But they just closed the case in the book because it had gone past the general time left open for cases. That was about 6 months, I think, or 3 months in the book. And the stuff with his ex-colleague Romano, I think his name was. Is that right? The little shit in the office where they went
the
to
drunk
see...
guy?
No, the other dude, his ex-colleague.
The old, yeah, okay.
That's where the nasty stuff started happening. I think it was closed earlier because they just didn't have any leads or they couldn't find Gomez, could they? So
interesting though, yeah, because you're not obviously from seeing the film, you're not sure of that either.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. That hadn't come into it yet, though. I just thought, well, they've closed the case because they didn't get anywhere with it. That's what I thought when I first saw it, if I can remember back that far.
Well, that was point one where I was a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you, Roll. I just found it odd that we can't solve the case, so we just close it and never open it again. It's like, but you haven't solved it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not Hollywood,
At least tell us why.
Well, no,
tell us why.
Even in Australia, I mean, if you don't, cases there's cold cases. This was closed, and the fact that Arena, his boss, was like, I have to do, you can't just open up a case again. So I think it had something to do with protecting. As I said, once I kind of read up on what was happening in Argentina at the time, I think it was all, setting things up for the second half of the film.
Right. Well, according to the book, no, that stuff didn't happen until he was actually caught and put in jail. Then he was co-opted into their cause to work for the junta, the military junta.
Oh,
so yeah, it seemed like I didn't really show it in the film, I guess, but in the book it says, they just couldn't get him after 6 months, so they just put it aside. I guess closed. I guess sort of put it in storage or something.
I mean, the film has to stand on its own. I mean, you can't have to rely on the book for.
No, but I guess I'm defending it here because I didn't see that as a problem when I first watched it 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I mean, I just went along with it. Okay, they got nowhere with it, so they have to close it. It's a device, isn't it? It's a device to get him shitty and make him break the law a little bit and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Merv, you still there?
Yes, yes.
You did. I think you dropped out for a second.
Yes, I did.
That's
But
right.
I'm back.
Okay,
I
good.
just lost interest. That's all. No. I want to bring up the typewriter.
Oh.
Okay.
I enjoyed the little typewriter motif that kept coming back.
Okay.
And I thought, this is actually a positive on the film. I thought that was skillfully done. The letter A, which keeps coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And do you notice at the end when he changes the letter A on the note? He adds a little A in the note. And it comes instead, the little note next to his bed, I fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, sorry, my phone's on. The little I fear note that he puts next to his bed, he adds an A in the middle.
Yeah.
And somehow within Spanish that becomes something about love or
So it was temo was fear and te amo, I guess, is I love, yeah.
So,
I didn't
so the missing A from the typewriter that keeps going from throughout the decades, from one place to another, turns up in the piece of paper next to his bed. That was nice.
Well spotted. That. Yeah, good. Well spotting, Roly. Fantastic.
My wife.
Actually. Oh, so it wasn't you at all.
I couldn't do it.
Fair enough. That's good.
But yeah. I mean, I noticed the typewriter. But, yeah.
There's So this case it hinges around this case, and the backdrop is the military junta from 76 or something to 75?
76. The film's set in 74, and the junta starts 75, 76.
Right.
So behind all that is just a case of murder, basically, and I guess it does seem pretty bog standard until you kind of get to the end, doesn't it?
Even then, it got a bit bog standard for me. I mean,
really,
I thought the end was set up nicely.
Yeah,
that conversation between him and the husband, and then bang, he went, oh yeah, this actually, I thought the setup for that was done really well.
Yeah.
Kind of like you expect, what horrible things? Did he actually murder his wife? What? And then, of course,
you're definitely wondering that.
Yeah, there was payoff in that, I found.
Yeah. I because I've seen this before. I read the book, and only at the end of that second viewing of the film recently, I realised, oh, hang on. So Esposito asked Morales a question in that kitchen. He said something like, how did you learn to live without your wife? And how do you do it? He's saying, how does this happen? Because he's living without Irene simply because he doesn't have the guts to sort of, ask her out.
Okay. He's a loser.
Okay. So anyway, they're both living without the women in their lives. And it kind of, I thought when it go to the big picture, it's kind of reflecting those troubles, isn't it? Where like thousands of people went missing from people's lives during that junta. So yeah, it's kind of clever. It's sort of removed once and then again to the bigger picture even. So I like that about it too. That was good.
My other problem with the film was the scene in the office where Irene becomes convinced that the guy committed the murder.
Oh yeah,
and the way they drew the admission out of him, I just thought was not very convincing.
Yeah,
it was a little bit. A plus B must equal C. He looked at my breasts, therefore he must have raped that woman. It was just a little bit simplistic. It didn't live up to some of the standards set in the rest of the film for believability.
I'm kind of glad you brought that up because in the book it's Sandoval who does that, not Irene.
Well, he looks at Sandoval tits. How does that work?
Let's step back a little. Sandoval comes in pretending to be drunk, and he's sort of like, this guy can't have done it. Look at him, he's a fucking pissweak. He was just so he did the same style of thing, but he just went on and tried to rile this kid, and eventually he did get him to sort of showboat, I guess, and brag. But yeah, there was no sexual connotation in the book of that confession.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it wouldn't have. Yeah, even without the sexual if that was not there, the same thing could have happened, and it still wouldn't have been that convincing. Maybe on the page it is, but
yeah, not much more. To be fair, not much more. I mean, you're just thinking that's surely he's got to be. It's
and then then it's also
it's pretty thick to do that. Yeah,
you're also thinking, oh, am I just missing the culture here and the time?
Yeah, maybe
the peculiarities of the time where is being represented, but also I think it's just. They haven't nailed every single all the way in this.
Go on, Merv.
I'm going to say, I think the film did portray, that, supposed machismo and all that. It was a very, all the workplace was extremely sexist.
Mm-hmm.
The blokes were all very misogynist and all the rest of it. So, the idea of a woman, telling a bloke that he was a pathetic individual, it did kind of fit within that sexual dynamic within the movie, that, the blokes were kind of, believing they're all, big studs and all the rest of it, when they probably weren't.
Yeah. Oh, look, I've just remembered something. There's a really great scene in a football stadium. Did you notice that one, Roly?
You know what? That was quite an amazing shot to come in. It was like a drone shot.
It's about 6 minutes, and I couldn't spot the cracks. I mean, if there were edits, I don't know how they did that. But there's a little thing I have yet to see on 2009, I think.
Okay, so CG.
Yeah, but there's a little making of that shot, I think, on some site on the web, which I'm about to look at actually after this. But I saw a little bit of it, and they're actually jumping off the stand into that little culvert that he jumps into. With him, like there's strings on him and stuff. So yeah, it looks like they've tried to do it as mechanically as possible. But yeah, from the helicopter to the stands of the stadium, what happened there? It's great.
Cameraman on a flying fox or something, or
maybe
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. It's a great middle part of the film. If only the whole film was sort of set around a football stadium. Would have been even better. I quite like this. I think you guys are more down on this than I am, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I said the middle. I said I've got 3 scenes which saved the movie. Well, 3 scenes in the character that saved the film for me.
Go on.
That opening scene when he's walking along joking with the blokes. Ben's walking along joking with the other cops, and then when he sees the body. I mean, that was a real punch in the guts. You actually saw, just another murder, and you did see the impact it had on him. I thought that was actually really well done. You kind of, without seeing too much, you really could see the brutality of what happened and how it did impact him. And you kind of can see why he did become obsessed with it. I said that football scene was great fun, the chaos, the crowd. Mm-hmm. You kind of got that real sense of just that everything you hear about South American football just being a bit, kind of packed, and
they're standing on these
almost
standing terraces.
Yes,
it's incredible.
Yeah, standing terraces. Yeah. And the final scene where they discover what the husband had done with the bloke who'd killed his wife. That was great. And of course, the one person we do have to also remember is good old Pablo, who I thought was just one of the best characters.
He took one
in
for the
film.
team, didn't he?
He certainly did. He was, he was the smart guy. He was. I know he was the one who actually kind of solved it.
Yep,
in many ways.
The alcoholic genius.
Yeah, well, he was. And plus the great joke of it was whenever they ring his office, you go, "Was it this is the morgue or this is the
sperm bank or something?"
Yeah. He was lazy as well, but at least he was clever in his laziness.
Apparently this actor is a famous comedian or comedy actor in Argentina, Guillermo Francella. And
you can tell. Yeah,
I think this was beefed up. This role was beefed up for him because in the book he doesn't die in the way that he died in the film. It's just off. It's completely off. He died of alcoholism when Esposito was off in Hoi Hoi up in the Andes, So he doesn't really have that much of a big role to play in the book. It's kind of third, fourth, maybe even fifth sort of rank character. But yeah, I think they may have beefed it up for this actor. So.
Which the problem is by beefing him up, he just showed what a loser Ben was.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know why you got that beef on against this guy.
I didn't mind him too much, but
barely had an original idea. He basically was anything that came along was the stuff that Pablo had done or whatever, and he was constantly making pathetic puppy eyes at Irina. It was way too good for him.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's what he was accused of being. Like, you're out of her league, and that
he was.
Well, Merv, gee, okay.
See where Merv stands on things.
And I mean, it even started off. When he first walks back into the offices, everyone's just kind of like, arsehole, loser.
Right.
No one respected him.
Well, I think he had more of the sense of a real character in a way, so I didn't mind it for that.
I mean, probably this is the case with seeing a film, then reading the book of it, and then seeing the film again. I'm kind of in the middle of both of the stories, so I kind of can see his character in the book and the film now, and I think he comes across a little bit better in the book, actually.
Well, because you can at least create, your own head.
Yeah.
Kind of those elements where.
But I was seeing him as Ricardo Darin, because I remember him from that film. So, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't ever remember seeing this guy before, and I did read that he was a big actor and all that, but I just couldn't care less about him. I said outside that, first scene, well, I thought, all right, this guy's and after that, he's just a bumbling, as I said, lazy coward.
Well, I did have a thought about the end of the film. That particular way that
you want to spoil it? Go for it. If you want to spoil it, I'm happy with that.
Let me show you how we don't need to. The particular fate, if you would call it, that the bad guy character meets at the end. Mm-hmm. I've kind of seen that before in the Walking Dead TV series, and I felt like it was done a lot better there.
Okay. I haven't seen much. I've seen one series of that.
So when this one came around, I was thinking, I knew kind of what to expect, and then when I saw him at the end, I was a bit disappointed.
So you predicted this, did you?
No, only right at the end, when it was more obvious what was going on. And I thought, but when you see him, it was just like, meh.
Okay. Do you think they kind of? They showed a flashback of him shooting him in the boot of the car, right? Which it's almost. I mean, that's unreliable narrator straight off the bat, right there.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because we're supposed to. We have to think he's done that, don't we? Unless we're always assuming the flashbacks are bullshit. So.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about a flashback. You don't mind so much if you find out that wasn't necessarily the case.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Yeah, the unreliable narrator is it more acceptable in a flashback?
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, if it's in the whole film, you'd be really puzzled,
lost, wouldn't you?
Yes.
That's the only time an unreliable narrator is used in film.
In flashbacks.
Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking of sort of Nolan stuff now. Maybe Memento. That's it. Is he unreliable or just forgetful?
He's a manipulated narrator.
That's still unreliable.
Yes, okay, there we go.
In my book, so
yeah. Just a little side note on this. This film won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film of 2010, I guess, beating, amongst other films, A Prophet and The White Ribbon. You know about these films?
Nope.
Okay, they're incredible, really, really fantastic films. I think this is pretty good, this Secret in Their Eyes, but it doesn't hold a candle to those two gems. And yeah, the Academy again showing its worth by I don't know. Maybe they went the safe option. I'm not sure.
Or,
But...
you know, why? Because they were probably soccer fans. And they thought, well, this one's got a soccer.
They're
team.
Americans.
They're Americans. They don't like soccer.
They might have been
Big
Italian
generalization.
Americans.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's quite an odd one. It was a good. I mean, look at that. It's a pretty good year for films not in the English language. Anyway, so wow. Yeah. Oh, one thing I have to mention? There was a really great one shot of a soccer stadium. Roly, do you want to go back and have a look at that?
Can we please do that again? Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Just have one more look at that. It's fantastic. All right. Any final notes, guys?
No, I'm done.
You're done?
No, I've seen it. You know, it wasn't a waste of an evening, but at the same time, I'll probably forget it pretty quickly.
Would you go and watch the American version then?
Well, it was on my list because I know it's on one of the streaming channels. It was on my list of things to watch beforehand. I just thought it had looked like it had an interesting cast.
Okay.
But now I'm not so inclined to.
Well, you kind of know.
I kind of know the story.
Yeah, you know the wrinkle now, don't you? So.
Yeah, I know the wrinkle, so it's like, meh.
Let me ask you something, Shady.
Sure.
Do you like the film as much after this podcast, now that we've done it, as you did before we started this podcast?
Yeah. I don't care what you guys say. You must know that by now.
We haven't raised any doubt in your mind at all. I think we have. I think there's a little thing of doubt in there now.
No, I don't. I don't think so. Ask me again.
This one for another podcast anytime soon.
Actually, I've got a question. Which one did you enjoy more, the film or the book?
Film or the book? That's a good one. Film, I think.
Really?
And I think probably because of the main actor. I like him. I like watching him. He's got a really craggy, interesting face. Yeah.
The only thing interesting about his character.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think they were both. I mean, because I'd already seen the film, so I knew what was going to happen in the book. It wasn't a surprise. So yeah, I'd have to go film still. Yeah, but thanks for the question. Guys, thank you very much for tonight. We'll see you again another time. Thank you, guys. Good night. Bye, Roly.
Good night.
Bye, Merv. Cheers.
Los ojos hablan.
Pánfilo.